Hey, everybody. Thanks for checking out today's broadcast. My name is Jonathan, and today is day 439 of my 3-year challenge to lose 300 pounds. If this is your first time checking out my broadcast, a little bit about me and the challenge. I'm 39 years old. I'm married, and we have 4 children together, and I've been overweight my whole life. I have had a few occasions as an adult where I've been able to lose some weight, but I've never been able to lose enough weight to get to where I am at a point where somebody would say that I was at a healthy weight. And then I've never been able to maintain any type of weight loss that I have been able to have, for any length of time. So I created this challenge with two main goals in mind. The first goal is that I knew I needed to stick with something longer than I've ever stuck with anything before. In the past, I've been able to maybe hold on to a diet for 6 months, 9 months was kind of the longest I can remember, like sustaining a long-term calorie in, calorie out diet. And I knew that this was so much more about lifestyle changes and about changing how I lived my life. Exact same thing I just said. Um, and so I knew I needed to take longer, and it was more about the time than it was about the weight. So that's why I challenged myself to do this for 3 years. The other part of the challenge here is that I have a lot of weight to lose. And like I said, I've never really ever aspired to getting to what would be considered a healthy weight until now. And so that's why I challenged myself to 300. So far, like I said, I'm on day 439. Yesterday was actually exactly 40%, which is just crazy weird. Uh, I know it's an odd number, but it's almost halfway, like I'm really only a couple months away from being at the halfway point. So it's just wild to think that I'm that far into this. Um, and I have lost 195 pounds total to date, which has been incredible to lose that weight. If anybody has any non scale victories they'd like to share, I'd love to hear your non scale victories. Any questions, comments? If anybody weighed in yesterday and has an update on their weight, I'd love to hear that. Let me know, guys, if you have it. So, yesterday was an awesome evening. I got to just I ate a ton. Not that I don't eat a ton normally, but I really did end up eating a lot yesterday evening. I stopped on the way home because we were out of avocados, and I picked up some avocados, and even though it probably wasn't as ripe as it could have been, I did end up making myself some avocado toast, kind of a staple of mine. So I had that kind of as a quick snack right when I got home, kind of as a nice little celebration of the 2 pound loss that I had for the week. And then Carrie had made a new recipe that it was from a company called Purple Carrot. Somebody in a local Facebook group had offered up a free week trial from Purple Carrot. And I said, why not? We could try it. Even if we don't like the recipes, they're going to send us vegetables that we could use for anything that we wanted. So I kind of was just like, it's free food. So I ordered that and we got that order in. Carrie has tried the spinach and artichoke grilled cheese. She had it yesterday the way they recommend making it. She said it was very green. She sent me a photo of it today. She made it without some of the elements that made it so greasy, and I believe she said she liked it. I don't actually remember looking at the response text now that I think about it. But she said yes, it was so much better. It still had some of the vegan mozzarella cheese on it, but she sauteed the oil-free artichoke hearts, garlic, and spinach in water. Skipped the jalapeno mayo completely because it was so overpowering yesterday, and just set the ungreased sandwich in the pan. No issues at all. Really yummy. So that was Carrie's review of the slightly modified spinach artichoke grilled cheese from Purple Carrot that she had made today. And then we had the West African peanut stew last night, also from Purple Carrot. And that was really good. It was kind of hit or miss. And if you guys have been following along and have joined our Discord, I did post a photo of the West African peanut stew on the Discord. There's a link to the Discord down in the description below. Um, Carrie says that it was so much better. Skip the mayo junk. Just so much nicer to eat it without the grease for the grilled cheese. Uh, the Wayne says that he likes African peanut stew. Yeah, it was good. Carrie had to swap out some of the ingredients so that it would be more of a SOS free meal for us. So she had most of the ingredients. And she actually said here that we actually had most of the ingredients for the stew on hand. So she doubled it because the actual portions from Purple Carrot were only two. I didn't realize that she did that. So that might have been why the kids were talking about the so much, because we might not have had the extra. But anyways, um, yes, the West African peanut stew was good. I ended up adding some of this cayenne powder or cayenne pepper that Carrie has to add some spice to it. It just felt a little um like the broth of it didn't have a lot of flavor. So adding that cayenne to it definitely gave it some spice. Carrie added sriracha, and the kids had added some sriracha that we had to theirs. I know Carrie said she really enjoyed hers. I enjoyed mine as well. It was a good meal. And it was kind of nice to try something completely different because of like there's nothing proprietary or special about that recipe, and so Carrie could easily uh replicate that recipe. We don't have to get that from uh we don't have to get that from Carrie says the audio is a little weird on her end. If anybody else is having issues, let me know. I can just do this real quick. Maybe that's better. I don't know, but the trying this new recipe was nice. Like Wayne says, he likes the African peanut stew, and so it's not even anything I had ever heard of before. So I know Carrie, like I said, enjoyed it, so she definitely will probably add something similar, or we will try that try to have that. Yeah, Carrie says here that the things that we wouldn't normally have on hand that were in that recipe were the Swiss chard and the peanuts. And funny because I believe that Swiss chard is one of those vegetables that's really high on like the nutrition scale. I'm pretty sure it was Furman from the Eat to Live book where they talked about having the score of nutrition like it's like a scale of 1,000 points, and things like kale and Swiss chard and spinach are all like up in the very high end of the nutrition uh chart. And so yeah, we don't normally have that on hand, but it was a great recipe. I really enjoyed it. Wayne saying here Aleppo pepper is one of his favorite add-on spices to add to flavor to the whole food plant-based recipes. Okay. Yeah, I know that there are quite a few seasonings out there that really, I mean, that's, it's such a weird, didn't plan on, but a lot of times people will give vegans or people who eat a plant-based diet a hard time because they eat recipes that are mimicking of chicken and beef, like we make fake chicken nuggets or we make fake and it's really not what our diet truly consists of. Like, we don't eat those fake meat products really at all. Like, it's not part of our day-to-day diet. If we do, it's a situation where, um, our kids are eating those things a lot more than we are. Uh, and, uh, and so, anyways, but what I think it's funny is that it's kind of funny because nobody eats the chicken or the beef just plain. Like, you might have steak where you just put salt on it, but a lot of times you're putting seasonings like garlic and thyme and rosemary and all of these flavors that you're putting onto the chicken. So you're actually kind of making chicken taste like plants, and then people are trying to mimic people making chicken taste like plants. So it's kind of funny how much it's really comes down to spices and uh how just what you can do to season and flavor your food makes a larger impact on your enjoyment than because there's a lot of occasions where you can substitute out and uh, make things that normally have meat and make something similar that doesn't have meat. A lot of times, like our spaghettis, there's really not much different there would have been before. It's no meat in the sauce. Um, and so yeah, I mean, the food was good last night with the peanut stew, and then I actually, like I said, I ate a ton. I had the toast, I had the peanut stew, and I even had, uh, one of my favorite kind of cheap snacks that fills my stomach. Like, if I feel like I don't have a full enough stomach, is just shredded wheat with raisins, and we use this West Soy unsweetened soy milk that we get from Walmart, and I'll eat a bowl of that as a snack, um, every now and then, and last night was one of those occasions where I did that, and it was awesome to kind of cap off and fill my gut up, and I've been feeling great since then. I did get up this morning and have my oatmeal, kind of the regular standard oatmeal that we always have, the, apples and bananas with steel cut oats, and I feel great today. I've noticed it more this past week, I think, than I ever had before. Is really just kind of this sense of um still having food in my system right now, like that I'm not empty, like that there's and I don't ever feel like I'm starving, like that's really one of the greatest things about this diet is I get to eat without having to kind of feel like I'm depriving myself of anything, and also, a big part of it is the variety too, so many times in diets in the past I was eating the same breakfast, lunch, dinner, and I know I just said that I have the same breakfast every day, and then I said variety is very important, and it is, but I have a different meal where we have our variety, which is our dinner, and we try new things and we're still learning, like I I think about how crazy it is that for 39 years of our lives, me and Carrie, we cooked a completely different way. Our menu set was completely different. The idea of cooking without oil was nonsense before now. And so we are really only in this thing for just over a year, like there's people that have been doing this for decades and they got it all figured out and it's nothing, it's uh but for us it really is kind of like this new thing still. We're still kind of learning how things work and what works for us or what foods are fitting our preference. And so it's exciting still. Like, I'm not bored at all. I'm not sitting here going, "Man, I'm gonna go have the same thing tonight." Um, and it's completely different than any other diet that I've done before, and it is just it has taken some time for us to get to be into this kind of comfortable point, but it really has been, just wild. Let's see. I I was looking over some things, and I the title of this is that I lost 195 pounds. And I've lost more, like I lost 200 and then I gained, 20 or 30 of it, 30, 26. Yeah, like 25 of it back. And then now I'm losing that 25 again. Um, but uh the biggest thing is those non-scale victories and the improvements that this diet and this weight loss has given me overall, just more, even more, more than the weight is the things I'm able to do, and just the fact that from day to day, just from the time I wake up, there's a noticeable difference in my quality of. I don't dread having to get out of bed and kind of do that, go to the bathroom in the morning and kind of, and I used to dread it just from a physical, like, I gotta slide out of the bed and I gotta get myself up and I gotta take a couple steps and hope that my feet are kind of um uh my feet, I have to get the tendons and the joints and everything kind of loosened up, and just to go to the bathroom in the morning. And now it's kind of, I really, when I get up, I pop up and get out of bed, it's a lot easier, and I don't have any type of uh thing here. Carrie says here, we're gonna make a big salad again tonight. She said she was gonna make a big salad again tonight. Now she feels like she needs to make something a little bit more exciting. She planned on having marinara made tonight and hasn't happened yet. Yeah, I mean, if it's the salad with the mushrooms, I'm cool with that too. But if you don't have the mushrooms, then get some marinara. I'm just kidding. Whatever you have time to make, it's not a big deal. The salad that we had on Tuesday night, I couldn't get over how good that was. Just the flavors and everything in that. Anyways, um, just how much, yeah, the improvements that losing this weight have made in my life, and like I said, just from the start of the day, getting up and taking care of, having, just not having the pain in my legs, and really not, I don't sleep with the CPAP machine anymore. Like, I don't know if that's recommended or not, but it was hindering me sleeping with the CPAP because it was blowing so much air into my face because I had such bad sleep apnea. And now I sleep great. I don't have any of the tired and groggy issues that, like, in the past, if I didn't wear my CPAP for a little bit, it would kind of catch up or build up. And I really haven't worn it. I bet it's been a year. I bet it's been a year since I wore my CPAP. I wonder if I have any way to look that up. I don't know if I do. But it's just crazy that's I don't have that that machine on, and then it's just easier to start my day. Um and then, just, it's weird, but there has been a huge kind of improvement in my mental health. I never really felt like I was not uh healthy mentally. But when I look at, like, my confidence when I go out in public, and I have to realize, like, how much I avoided going out in public and avoided being seen before, and now I don't have kind of that uh that worry, like, oh my God, if I see somebody that hasn't seen me for years, I'm gonna be, uh, I'm so big. And now I'm really at a weight that anybody would recognize me at, or I would, would be as light as anybody's kind of would ever remember me being as an adult. And I'm so close to getting down to like me and Carrie were talking about it yesterday. When I get down to 285, it'll be Carrie says it'll be a surprise. When I get down to 285, I just am really excited for where I'm, like just everything. I feel like uh gonna change at that point for me mentally, because that'll be the lowest I've ever been as an adult. uh it was very short lived that I got to that weight, and that was on that very low calorie diet that as soon as I went off of it, I was gaining, multiple pounds a week, probably the first couple weeks, which is crazy that I allowed it to happen. And it happened so quick too, but um trying to think, just the yeah, just there's so much about just getting around that it's been so nice to lose this weight and to have it off, and like to be at a point where it's really off. Like even yeah, like it feels so weird to always like I hesitate when I want to say, like that weight's gone forever, because I've said it before. Um but I've never said it with, oh, I don't know, like I was so convinced before, right? Um, but I don't know that it was near as satisfied. I always the difference I will say is that when I lost all the weight before, and when I got, it was 120 pounds or something, or 130 pounds I lost in that, it was less than a year. I really felt like I was cheating the whole time, because my doctor didn't care what my diet was. He just wanted me to be on low calorie. And so I was eating just an awful diet, like I wouldn't talk about it. Like I would go to these weekly meetings where we would discuss the mentality of it and being strong and having the willpower to push the plate away and not eat. But nobody was ever like, so what did you eat for the last 7 days? Because I'd had to been like, well, I had Pringles 7 days, I had a Kit Kat 7 days, and I had a Cubasa 7 days. And um it's the this time I feel like I wasn't cheating the system. I was filling my stomach every night. I was not having to take pills to suppress my appetite, which, it's funny how much power I was giving myself, and it was really the pills. Wayne says he likes to call it a whole food plant based lifestyle and not a whole food plant based diet. Yeah, it's tough because I named my channel Fa Dieting, and there's a lot of people that, the word dieting, it invokes different kind of things from people. And for me, everybody's on a diet, everybody's eating, whether it's a whole food plant-based diet or a carnivore diet or paleo diet or keto diet or a vegan diet, or like it's how people eat. But yeah, it is a lifestyle, I guess, that I would say, and that it has changed the way I live outside of just the food I eat. So yes, I would say that there's definitely a whole food plant-based lifestyle to it, because the when I started this, I gave zero about animals and about environment. I mean, what I cared, but it wasn't like, when I think back, like it's kind of that whole vegan argument, you can't care about any animals and then have factory farming, or have these, eat an animal, kill an animal to eat it. Um, and so it has changed my lifestyle. I've only purchased vegan items, like my shoes are purchased. I got the the style I got because there's no animal products in them. I got a new blanket. I got rid of my down comforter. Uh, and so it has changed my lifestyle more than I anticipated. We did, we haven't messed with the composting as much, but we do have a composter, and that's kind of been some of the environment stuff for the just the waste that I think about, how much waste that I used to have where I'm at. Like my office, it was in, I mean, this, you wouldn't believe this fast food kind of, I don't know, vortex I'm in the middle of. But just the paper bag, and then the wrapper inside the paper bag, and the cup with the soda, and the fry box. And I used to, that would be the only garbage I ever produced, was fast food waste, or garbage from a fast food restaurant. And now the bulk of my waste, I would say, is in these water cans. Because a lot of times, the produce that, I guess the plastic bags we put the produce in when we buy it. But um it's wild how much less of an impact that I'm having on the planet, unintentionally. And then intentionally too, because once I found out what I was doing or what was happening, then I did make changes. So it's pretty crazy uh how much it has, you know, it is a lifestyle. And yeah. And I'm listening to this book. I'm only a half hour, 45 minutes into the book, but it is The Future of Nutrition by T. Colin Campbell. And it's really frustrating to listen to this guy, like, and he hasn't even gotten into it yet, but I just know, like, it's weird. It's almost like this book was written by the one guy that was standing there yelling, "Hey, we should do this. We should do this." And everybody was like, "You shut up. You don't worry about that guy." Well, yeah, I know that he's, on all of the board of directors. He's like the guy that we have there just to tell him to shut up. Like, he's the dissenting voice that is trying to make us look at the science and, like, the actual evidence of what's going on, and not what the bottom line is for our profits and our, other things. So it's really wild to hear about. And I really got it when I listened to the book whole. That was really one of the vibes I got from it, was like, man, this guy's really, like, he must have gone through a lot in his professional career to, like, to continue to keep his job and to be saying the things he was saying. Um Carrie says that we're not going to be selling Girl Scout cookies for her mostly inactive troop. They weren't very active. Um, and then, yeah, she just can't imagine trying to sell people something that we would never eat. Yeah, we wouldn't. Yeah, there's nothing we would eat. So yeah, that's another lifestyle change. Um, so yeah, it's just been crazy, this whole process, and it really has been incredible for my mental health. Like that. I would say that that's one of the things that is really improved, is more than anything. Like the talk about it a little bit, but one of the things that this book talks about, the book is talking about too, is that, like, the number one killer is heart disease. Like, and he actually talks about the top four. It's heart disease, uh, lower respiratory's fourth, third is accidents, um, second, I can't remember what second is, but all four of them, like, even the third one, the one that's like accidents, it's mostly medical accidents. Like, there's over 100,000 people a year that die because of the prescriptions that they were taking. Like, they were misprescribed something, or there was something that caused a complication from their prescriptions that kill them. But and they're taking those prescriptions to avoid those top killers like heart disease, which is like 600,000 a year. And he says in the book, like that's like whole city of Sacramento. Like the region I live in, it's called the Quad Cities. Everybody dies. Like if all of the people that died from heart disease died in this region, everybody's dead. Like it's just wild. And they know that eating a whole food plant-based diet prevents heart disease. And it reverses it even, and another one of the things that's really crazy is that a lot of these doctors, I think that they're right on the cusp of the whole food plant-based diet showing huge benefits with Alzheimer's because they I've had multiple doctors interview that I've listened to where they've alluded to, there's something coming out soon uh that I think is gonna, if there isn't already something that's out there. Like I know that there's the How to Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease is a book. Dr. Ornish, the Undo It. He's been doing a lot of press right now because they just released that on paperback. And but the mental, like, I'm not gonna have a heart attack. I'm not gonna have a stroke. I'm not gonna die from lower respiratory disease. I really feel like those are all true statements that I just made, and those would not have been true statements 2 years ago. And just the I keep constantly going back to the thought that if anybody who ever knew me at any point in my life, from now until November 2022, or from November 22 back to when I was probably back as far as 25. If somebody would have come up to my parents, or my parents would have gotten a phone call, or my wife would have gotten a phone call, and they said, "Hey, John had a heart attack," or a friend of mine, like, but anyway, anybody gets sees it on Facebook, John had a heart attack. Everybody would be like, "Yep, all right, yeah." I mean, John was gonna die from a heart attack. Yeah, that was gonna happen. Like, and now I don't worry about it. It's almost like not having the the candy in the cupboard, like you don't have to fight that temptation, you know, like, you know, like if you have candy in your cupboard, it's tempting, you're gonna have to fight that temptation. So just remove the candy from your cupboard and then you don't have to fight that. You don't have to have that argument. Well, I've removed heart disease from the list of things that are gonna kill me. And it feels amazing to not have that on, like that's kind of hurts today, I got pain in my arm. What's that? Or even like I think it's called sciatica. The pain in my right thigh from like my hip to my knee. Like there's a large area in my leg that I used to get like tingling and like a weird pain. It doesn't happen. The swelling in my ankles is gone. Like there was something going on with that swelling. And that swelling is one of the signs that diabetic people have before they have to get their legs cut. Like that's, the sores that were growing on my leg, all that's gone. Like amazing. I I I wish I knew this decades ago. I wish I would have paid attention decades ago. It was out there probably. And that's what the book talks about. Is this information's been out there for a very, very long time. It's not new. It's not something that's cutting edge. It's just being found out about now. It's weird that it's similar, but it's similar to the cancer, cigarettes causing cancer, and people didn't believe that they knew a lot longer that cigarettes cause cancer than, long before. They knew long before that there was an issue and there was a correlation before they actually admitted that there was something or that we were able to make actual changes. I don't know that there'll ever be actual changes with our dietary system, but if you can make the change, it will improve your life. I don't know. I really, there's people that are ex-vegans or ex-plant-based, but I there's so many people that have been doing this for 15 and 20 years. You just don't know about them. I mean, I follow a few YouTube channels that kind of highlights those people just kind of to keep me excited. There was the lady that I interviewed with yesterday. It is the if you want to look at their YouTube, they have a couple interviews out. It's the Center for Nutrition Studies, and that's T. Colin Campbell's Center for Nutrition Studies. They have a YouTube channel, and they have a podcast series that they have released a couple episodes for. I believe it's called Weight Loss with Plants, and there's been 2 episodes out. The first episode was with a couple who have been doing this for a long time. They're like a decade in. And so he was, it was weird. Like I almost felt like I'm such a novice at this, like just listening to him talk about it and like the things like having to recall the things that were big deals like when he first started that are now just kind of parts of their life. That's what kind of talked about that earlier too, is that we're new to this. It's still exciting. There's still a lot of recipes that we've never tried or never given a chance. So uh anyways, I think that I went on long enough today, guys. I really appreciate the comments in chat and everybody following along here. I hope you guys all have a great evening. I'm going to be surprised by dinner. Either I'm going to have a big salad or I'm going to have pasta, I guess is what was going to go with the marinara. Um, I guess I'll find out when I get home. Uh, but I'm not worried. I'm sure it'll be wonderful no matter what. You guys all have a great evening. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, get subscribed. Click on that bell icon. You'll get alerted when I go live, which is usually around 4 p.m. on weekdays. I will go live again tomorrow, and then I'll be back next week. There is a link in the description for our Discord. The Discord is just kind of a place for you guys to get on and share kind of what's going on with you. Sometimes I share things like the soup that we had yesterday, the West African peanut stew. I shared that on the Discord. And then there's also a link to our Pinterest board, and that is just kind of some of the recipes that we've liked or that we found over the past year eating a whole food plant-based diet. A lot of those recipes you might like, you might not. Some of them we've taken and we've tweaked to kind of our preference, but they are just some options out there, to give a chance. You guys all have a great day. If you haven't started your diet yet, get started right now. There's no reason to wait. There's nothing coming up that's more important than you getting your health and your wellness taken care of. If it's something as simple as just putting brackets on your eating, just, take whatever time you go to bed. Let's say you go to bed at 10 o'clock every night. Stop eating 3 or 4 hours before you go to bed, maybe 6:30, 7 o'clock, quit eating. Then that way it gives your body a chance to digest that food. You can go to sleep, you wake up the next morning, and then kind of, like I said, it'll help reduce the overall eating that you, if that's the only thing that it does, hopefully it helps provide some benefit. But switching to a whole food plant-based diet, I think people will see some amazing results. I know I have. Carrie's been seeing some great results as well, and there's a lot of people out there. Just search it, guys. You can find it. Anyways, you guys all have a great evening. We will see you tomorrow.